Track racing at the Toyota Raceway for the running of this race number 7 of 35 on the Busch Series schedule on this game. Racing as Martin Truex Jr. for this season. We currently lead the point standings and coming in off of 3 consecutive victories, 2.5-mile tracks to Las Vegas and Atlanta, and then the first short track race of the season. We dominated, leading 261 of 300 laps at Bristol. Today we'll be starting at the back of the pack with no practice or qualifying. I usually qualify as of late when we've been doing these full races, but I seem to qualify towards the back anyway, so I didn't even want to bother doing that today. Maybe I could have qualified better here with this being a fantasy track, who knows. But yeah, we will be starting at the back of the field. Hopefully we have a similarly paced, quick car like I did at Bristol, and hopefully we stay out of trouble like we did at Bristol. That was the same race length on a half-mile track. These two are very similar to each other, so it's kind of surprising that they're in back-to-back races the way they are. But, yep, let's see how this goes. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We are back, by the way. This is the first stream we've had since Rolex 24 wrapped up on Sunday. Tried to get caught up with my sleep the best I possibly could. Last night was probably the most, well, I wouldn't say the most stress I've had. Like Monday, or Sunday night into Monday morning was definitely the most rest I had in one consecutive night since then, but having to work all the way throughout the week, I've just been tired through most of the week, to be completely honest, but we're going to power through this stream here today. I do feel more awake probably today than what I did yesterday at about this time, so that's good. I'll definitely start to catch back up on sleep now that I'm off of work for the rest of the weekend, or at least for tomorrow and then into Saturday morning, and then I'm going to be out of town late on Saturday night going to the Royal Rumble as well, so, you know, just crazy schedule I got going on here with these last couple of weeks. So maybe next weekend I'll get caught up on sleep completely at least. But yeah, I'm excited for this one. We got back-to-back days of NASCAR 08 and then no stream Saturday, unfortunately, for the live commentary stuff, even though there's on-track activity with the Clash. I did put a community tab post out yesterday regarding the schedule for this weekend. We will still be live on Sunday for the LCQ at 6 p.m. Eastern and the 8 p.m. Eastern NASCAR Cup Series race, which is the actual main event for the Clash at not the Coliseum, but at Bowman Gray Stadium. So excited for that. NASCAR's back this weekend, second consecutive week of live commentary content. Then we'll be off for a week with that, with the Super Bowl, and then for 38 consecutive weeks, we'll have live commentary streams in some facet or another. Even if I'm at the track, more often than not, I'll only be at the track for a Cup race, so I would still be doing a Truck and Xfinity Series race broadcast throughout the weekend. I think Bristol and Spring Dig are the only two dates that I'm actually not going to be doing a live commentary stream because I'm going to be at the track the whole weekend. But the other couple of races I'll be at throughout the season, I will end up only being there for the Cup race. Needless to say, let's get into this one. That's what you're all here for here tonight. And we'll just take it one stream at a time from here. Green flag back in the air. First time I played this game in 6 days now. Went 2 days, went off for 6, and then I'm going to be on for 2, and then I'm going to be off for another couple. And then we'll end up Monday night getting back to more scheduled programming for NASCAR 08 on the daily content side of things. This is a slow first lap, by the way. Very, very slow getting up to speed. Just creeping around the Red Bull Raceway. Just got to know when to gas it up. I'm taking it easy because I didn't practice. And I was unaware of exactly how the car was going to handle. I put pretty much as much downforce into it as I could. I could have put a little bit more, but I was also scared the car was going to be too tight. I'm going so slow in the corners, it's handling perfectly fine because I'm going so slow. Usually I do this and I get really loose on the intermediate tracks if I really try to back the corners up. It's the prognosis of having to go slow to go fast on this game. It's kind of ridiculous though. That last lap was a 16.7. I guarantee we get out in the open, we can run lap times in the 14s. Paul Menard out in front of the field. He's been qualifying well on this Busch Series season. He led laps early at Bristol until we took the lead away from him. And here at Red Bull Raceway, similar racetrack. No two tracks will probably be similar on the schedule than Bristol and Red Bull. So the fact that it's back-to-back races, I guess, kind of makes it a little easier for us. Same race lengths, too. 300 laps. So I'd imagine it's going to be a one-stop race because that's what Bristol was. We were able to make it about halfway, and our early cautions came out right around the halfway mark, so might have to worry about that again as well. on an annual basis. I'm excited for it, though. Honestly, I really think they've got big stuff planned for this weekend because I haven't even bought the tickets yet. I usually wait until like just before any event I go to just to see them come down in price, buy them off resale. The ticket prices are still pretty high. This is the most expensive WWE show I've gone to, and I might not even sit on the floor. I've sat on the floor the last 2 Rumbles I've gone to, and I think last year was $131 a ticket, but I was 26 rows from the ring. Not bad, honestly, at all. All those tickets right now on the floor are well above $200. It makes me think that they've got something big planned. I don't know if that means The Rock is going to show up, or obviously it's already a stacked match. You got John Cena there, and a lot. I mean, it's a stacked card for sure. Of the 3 years I've gone to it now, this is probably going to be the most hyped outside of the first year, but that was for a different reason. This year, just because of what's there. Then the ladder match too between Cody and KO. I'm excited. I am excited. In 10 laps, already up to third. A little contact there at the 18. Kevin Conway, as Truex is going to get his way up to third. It's amazing what Baby in the Throttle can do for you in this game. By the way, shout outs to those of you watching right now. We got Wade, Patrick Shadley, Michael Turner, Ryan Berwick. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Oh, somebody got tight behind us. Fantasy driver that was in second. 1-2 for DEI at the front of the field as Truex tries to go for 4 wins in a row. It's amazing how much success I'm having in the Busch series, and then I feel like with the Cup and the Truck series, it's a lot harder to win races. And it's weird because I feel like I'm in lesser equipment in this series compared to the other two. It's kind of like a 50-50 chance whether I'm going to win or not. We've won over 50% of the races already. Looking for 4 in a row. On lap 15, Truex is in the lead. It took us about 40 laps to get to the lead at Bristol, and then we never really looked back. And out here today, it's taken 14 laps. And on the 15th, Truex is going to lead to get his 5 bonus points. Still try to take care of the tires, kind of baby it in the corners a little bit, but now we can go a little harder. And that's what I mean. We got out into the open once I got into the top 3 or 4 positions, 14.9. That lap was our quickest of the race there, 14.874. I was running mid-16 second laps in traffic. So much slower it is back there. No wonder we're kind of pulling away from everybody once we got to the front. Clearly looking like we've got the quickest car in the field yet again, though. I'll take it. You got my sickness? What, laryngitis? I literally couldn't. I don't know if anybody in the chat has had laryngitis before. That's the first time I've ever had it. Again, this is self-diagnosed. I did not get checked out or anything, but I'm assuming I had it based on everything I found on the internet, because I literally could not talk for 5 days. I'm not one to exaggerate like, oh, I was so sick I didn't want to talk so I couldn't talk. No, I mean, I couldn't talk. I would try to talk to people, and I couldn't do it. Like, illness-wise, my body felt fine. I didn't feel, like, congested or anything like that. My voice was gone. And I'm still kind of somewhat feeling the effects of it. I still can't go up an octave. And I had this almost 2 weeks ago exactly. 14, 15 days ago is when I first got it. And it took almost 10 days to get my voice back to enough to start streaming again. And then even right now, like, not that I'm going to sing for you on stream, but for instance, like, I always listen to music in my car. And I noticed yesterday, I was like trying to sing one of the choruses on one of the songs I was listening to, and I couldn't do it. Like, my voice wouldn't let me. It was kind of cutting in and out. I'm sure if I were to like yell for some reason or another, my voice would probably crack still. So I don't have a singing voice and I don't have a yelling voice. So it's just something about trying to go up an octave that my voice just stops. It just cuts out still. If it lasts for a couple more weeks and it's still like that, I think I'm going to go get checked out, because maybe it's not laryngitis and maybe it's, something more serious than that. I hope it's not, but it doesn't hurt to talk or anything. And even at that time, it didn't really hurt to talk. It just, I couldn't do it. But yeah, I've never had that before. I know it wasn't because I was at the Red Wings game like 5 days before that, because I didn't get the laryngitis until days later. I think I got it like 4 days after the Wings game. It was when I first started noticing my voice was going away. Got a yelling voice, no singing voice. Setup-wise, this is exactly the same as what I had in the last race at Bristol. I knew with it being a carbon copy of the last race and it being the most recent race, even though it was 5 days ago now, I knew exactly what I did to the car. It was quick. I'm like, I'm going to do it again. Here we are. I might even lead more laps than I did at Bristol, which was 261. Definitely got a good chance of it. Yeah, I'm pretty good with not going to like other sporting events, by the way, when there's live commentary stuff to be had. But unfortunately, the Royal Rumble was pushed back a weekend this year, and that's kind of like my traveling excursion to go to that isn't NASCAR related on an annual basis now. Next year, if it's on the same weekend, I can guarantee you I'm not going because it's supposed to be in Saudi Arabia. So I'm definitely not going to be going over there for the event, unfortunately. I'd be kind of curious to travel out of the country. But yeah, I don't want my first experience of going out of the country to be in Saudi Arabia. So sorry to any listeners maybe from Saudi Arabia, but I'm sorry, I just don't trust your government. That's all. I don't feel safe, which is unlike me because a lot of people, especially, starting to travel at a relatively younger age. Like I started traveling to NASCAR races when I was 18 years old. And I'd have some loved ones like, be careful, they didn't know what I was doing, kind of thing. And even still to this day, they're like, man, you don't get doesn't matter what city I go to, I've never felt like I was in an uncomfortable situation. That is like the one thing where it's like I wouldn't even think of doing something like that, especially by myself. Luckily this weekend I'm not going to the Rumble by myself like I was a couple years ago, but still. Interesting. It would be interesting, all right. I don't know that I'd feel comfortable vlogging. What are their? I don't know what the rules are over there. Would they even like that I'm videotaping anything in that country? I'm not the vlogging type. I tried doing that a couple of years ago. It's not me. Oh man, that was exaggerated. I accidentally hit him the corner before that because he slowed down so much. Tried to wreck us middle of the straightaway. If we were going any quicker, I think I would have got turned. These guys are going so slow in the back of the field. Exactly how the initial start went, too. We're already 4.5 seconds ahead. We're only on lap 40. If it stays green long enough, we might lap the field. Be the first time on this game. Technically, I like how you say technically vlogging. Yeah, I'm not trying to get decapitated. I got too much to live for. There's a lot of things in my life, unfortunately, to this point, I haven't been able to experience, and getting decapitated isn't on the hierarchy of that list. Wasn't it a whole thing like several years ago where there was like some sort of like publisher or man, I want to make sure I get this right. There was someone from the US It was in Saudi Arabia. And they were like some sort of a news reporter or something of that nature that basically got like kidnapped, and they ended up, I mean, nobody knows what happened to them. But they were out of the country. I know it's one of those countries where you definitely don't want to be talking bad about it, especially while you're in the country, because they will find you. And I almost wonder if that's kind of what that media member was doing. You know, whatever, you know, news channel or whoever they ended up working for. Obviously, they were over there, I'm sure, for a job. Yeah, I don't want that to happen to me. Maybe I'll go to WrestleMania next year. I keep talking about that too. The more I think about it, I'm like, well, if I can't keep my Rumble streak alive, maybe I'll go to Mania for the first time next year. They haven't even announced where it's going to be yet. I mean, if it's in Indianapolis, bonus. I know I won't be living here at that time, but at least you know, I still know people that would definitely be down for going there again. Some friends and family, obviously. I'll still come here to visit a couple times a year. Watch old NASCAR race on YouTube. Yeah, I haven't done that in a minute. Oh, if I could do it for the channel, I would love to get back into doing that again. But every one of those streams was getting demonetized, so I had to stop doing it. But that was always pretty cool. I like those Throwback Thursday streams. And, you know, I've thought about maybe doing a reaction video to something like that. The only problem with that is I'm not experiencing it with you guys, which is what I wanted to do, which was the whole purpose of live streaming it when I first started that a couple years ago. Went to WrestleMania in SoFi Stadium. Must go to... I'm definitely going to Mania one of these years. And honestly, this year would be so perfect to do it just because there's no NASCAR for the Cup Series. That's their only off week. Saturday would be tough because there'd be racing at Rockingham going on with the Xfinity Series. So I don't know what time that starts. I would imagine there's going to be some overlap from the finish of that. So that would be tough for only that day. But, you know, maybe like a Sunday only deal. I mean, you'd like to go to both, but the Sunday only would definitely be possible. That, and I just saw earlier today, too, my guy Triple H, my favorite of all time, is inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I'm like, man, is this like a calling for me to go to WrestleMania this year? It's like they're trying to get me to go. Everything's aligning perfectly for it to happen, and I'm just choosing not to do it. I wouldn't say it's completely off the table, but I'll tell you what, if these Rumble tickets were, you know, cheaper like they have been the last couple of years I've gotten them, it'd make it a lot more feasible for me, but... Yeah, Red Wings have definitely been pretty good. 3-game win streak again. Though they're playing the Oilers, who are streaking tonight, too, so it's going to be a tough game to win. Anytime you go East Coast to West Coast, or a West Coast team goes East Coast, it's definitely difficult to get some wins. Hopefully they can get it done. Just over an 8.5-second lead for Martin Truex Jr. Fastest lap still that 14.857. We're 60 laps in. Pacing well for fuel now. If we get to lap 75 before we get halfway out of gas, then it will be a one-stop race. I would assume it's a one-stop race because, again, similar track length. It's very same race length to that of Bristol. And that was a one-stopper. I'm expecting the same here. But we can't say for sure because I haven't raced this track yet till just now on this game. By the way, very weird that it's now Toyota Raceway and it's not Red Bull Raceway. Because I noticed the Toyota Raceway logo, and I was curious to see what track it was actually going to be. And then sure enough, when we wrapped up Bristol last week, I'm like, oh, it's the old Red Bull. So if you're wondering, you know, if this is a new track on this game, if you're a consistent viewer of the channel and you watch all the other older NASCAR gaming content, and that would be the answer to the question. It is not a new track, but it's a new name. I have so much grip down on the apron because I'm taking the corners so slow around other cars. That's why I'm able to drive down there. Obviously, if I tried to go as fast as I could, I'd probably get loose like I do at every other track when I'm down on the apron, but backing up the corners so much. Working well for us. See, carried a little bit more speed in there that time. It's only because I didn't want to be 3 wide, and go figure, we still were. David Reagan is out of the race, it looks like. He's 12 laps down and counting. I didn't notice if anybody else is out of the race yet. I don't see anybody on the track map that's on pit road other than that one car, so I would believe that he's the only one out. Jeff Burton and Pablo Montoya in front of us, and that would be the 8th and 9th place cars, so I think this is Howe right in front of him too. So I believe there are only 6 cars on the lead lap in just the first 68 laps of this race. That is crazy. I mean, Bristol was dominant. This is looking even better. So I'm better on the intermediate tracks on this game than what I was on NASCAR 07. Or at least the mile and a half. California still wasn't great for us, but the mile and a half tracks, very good. Not as dominant necessarily as what I am here and on the short tracks, but quick enough to win. And short tracks were still just as dominant. Here's Hornish, who's in 6th. And now he's about to go lap down. He got back in the gas a little too soon. Sideswiped him as we make the pass. Now there are only 5 cars on the lead lap, and he hits us back. I'll tell you what, these guys, I made contact with just a few cars, and they made contact right back with me. They're not letting me get away with anything. No work this weekend? Yeah, there you go. That's a plus. Yeah, I am thankful of all weekends that I did end up having that. Luckily, it wasn't a live commentary weekend. So it was during this time of the year. It did scare me because it was so close to getting back into the live commentaries. We were only a week out, but luckily I was good enough to go just a couple days beforehand. But yeah, on top of that, and the fact that I only had to work one day with it, where I couldn't really talk, was that Thursday, which was the first full day I had it. And then I started getting it, obviously, when I was losing my voice towards the end of the stream that Wednesday night before. I did tear it up again quite a bit, though, streaming for 24 hours this weekend. My voice was a little bit raspy the next day. There were some people noticing throughout the course of the stream, too, telling me that I had to keep drinking more water. I was drinking all the water I could. I went through 16 bottles of water during that 24 hours. I don't know if I mentioned that at the end of the stream or not. I know during the course of the stream, I was like, man, I had a 32-ounce cup. And at one point, I was like, yeah, I'm drinking this like 4 times already. And it was like 8 hours into the stream, which is the equivalent of 2 bottles of water. Because each bottle of water is about 16 fluid ounces, and that was 32. It was I literally went through 16 bottles of water. That's 2/3 of a full case of water I drank in one stream. And yet I still only had to go to the bathroom like 7 times. Which isn't bad, honestly, for a 24-hour stretch drinking that much water. I'd say that's pretty good. I mean, that's only once every couple hours on average. About every 4.5 hours on average. Yeah, time to die. I went to the bathroom 7 times. I was trying to keep that number down like 8 or below. pretty much every time I had to get up to refill my water. And didn't miss, I mean, obviously I missed part of the race only during those moments, but made it back in time before a commercial, so I timed it all out as perfectly as I could have. I mean, I have some thermoses that keep the water just as cold as the Stanleys. My sister's big on those Stanley cups. I got her one for Christmas this year, too. But I've got enough thermoses. I've got literally 4 of them. I did have 5. The Red Wings one I had accidentally dropped at work a couple years ago, and the thing just shattered. It's like a hard plastic coating. I didn't even think it was possible. I just dropped it, and obviously it was full of water, too, so it was pretty dense. I dropped it. It just exploded all over the place. I don't even know how I dropped it. I was just walking and just dropped it. Sounds like a klutzy thing, but really not a klutz. pretty athletic person. It was just a freak thing. He's got firmly grasp it, as Patrick Starr would say. Firmly grasp it in your hands. Yeah, as far as fluids go, I had that, and then I had 2 large iced coffees from Starbucks too. So I had 16 bottles of water, 2 large iced coffees from Starbucks, and that 24 hour, I think 25 minutes is what it timed in for the stream. So I definitely went through a lot of fluids. I knew I was going to have to, not only to help stay awake, but also for the sake of not losing my voice, especially just coming off of sickness. Big moment there, getting into the back of, is that Kenseth? Either Kenseth or Danny O'Quinn Jr. Oh my gosh, I hate how much the field just checks up at randomness. We either have a speed glitch where I'm running into them or they're running into me. And now we got a slow car on the bottom of the track, which is the 41. I think both 41 cars have blown an engine. I think I noticed Sorensen down there earlier. That was David Stremme. Yeah, Sorensen's out too. That's what I thought. Thought I saw the Juicy Fruit 41 down there earlier. So both 41 cars out of the race. Oh boy. A little skatey. I carry too much speed in the middle of the corner. This thing, man, it wants to slide up the racetrack now. Very quick. I mean, you really have to feather the throttle all the way through the corners on this track. First of all, I was able to give it a little more gas later in the run. The big thing is just trying to keep the tires underneath you. I'm getting better at managing my tires on this game because I'm not pushing as hard earlier in the run. And then it also helps because to go slow is to go fast, basically, in this game. And by the way, the last car I hit of the 17, it was Danny O'Quinn Jr., because this is the Arby's car. And I know the Arby's car is Kenseth. Good old Arby's. We have the meats. I haven't been to Arby's in a minute. Got some good curly fries with the cheddar cups. It's a must. Get myself hungry now. Which is not good because we still have 200 laps to go. Yeah, as far as food too during that stream, I started off, well, before the stream started, I had 4 breakfast Hot Pockets, a sausage, egg, and cheese. I had 2 before the stream. I was in the middle of eating the 3rd and 4th as the stream was starting, so I started the stream, and then during, like, the second stint following the first commercial break, I had the on-air live coverage on NBC, and then I finished up the food then. Then a little later in the day, I know I ate 50 pizza rolls. 50 of the pepperoni Totino pizza rolls. I did go through those. I'm trying to think if that was a second thing I ate, or I definitely ate that, obviously, later on in the day. No, I had 2 protein bars, that's right. I had 2 of those Cliff protein bars before that. And then, yeah, about the 8.5 hour mark of the stream, that's when I went through all those pizza rules. And then at like 4:30 in the morning, got a little more food in me again. I had 3 of those like soft pretzels. There's Annie Ann soft pretzels you can get at Walmart. Had that with cream cheese. So that was like my breakfast, quote unquote, the next day on the Sunday. And then I don't think I ate again until the end of the stream. I was scared to eat again because I was starting to get tired, and I was scared that if I was going to eat like an hour or so after that, I was going to get even more tired. And I had the last coffee going in me with 3 hours to go in the stream, so I'm like, well, this is it, so it's going to have to last me. Then after the stream was over, then I had some actual food for lunch instead of just frozen foods. And then I went to bed for 4 hours. I woke up at 7 o'clock, and it was so weird because, for one, again, I'm not an all-night kind of person. I'm not a night person. I'm very much a morning person. So that threw me off my sleep schedule, obviously. I went to bed at 3 o'clock, woke up at 7. I didn't know if it was 7 o'clock that night or if it was 7 o'clock the next morning. Like, I was out cold for 4 straight hours. And it was dark, and it's still dark where I live at 7 o'clock in the morning. The sunrise about like closer to 7:30. So I woke up, and all I saw on the clock was 7. It was 7 o'clock even. And I'm like, man, is it Sunday still, or is it Monday morning? And I got up and actually checked my phone. I'm like, okay, it is still Sunday. And I stayed up for like maybe 2.5 hours, and I went to bed again. Basically 9:30, 10 o'clock. I slept all the way till 9 o'clock the next morning. And I went to bed early Monday, about 8:30. Just had to work on Tuesday, and then got up 4:45. I'm trying to go to bed early the last several nights and get as much sleep as I could, which I definitely wouldn't have been able to do if I was streaming. And I mentioned during that stream I was definitely going to take a couple days off. That was the plan going into it. I was going to give myself at least 2 days off. I went 3 just to be safe because I was pretty tired still yesterday. So that's why I put the community tab out during the day yesterday, that I wasn't going to stream again. But yeah, we're back. I'm better now. I'll be pretty much 100% tomorrow. So we'll get the next Cup race for tomorrow on NASCAR 08, because it's been a minute since I've ran the Cup Series on this game. 7th race of the Busch schedule, and I think we're 5 or 6 into the trucks, so about time we get another Cup race in. It's a 500-miler too, so I was going to have to do it on a non-work day, so tomorrow it is. More of a night person over morning. Yeah, I know, you're always... I see your... I'll see a comment that you'll leave like on a stream or something from the night before, and I'll see that it'll be posted because it gives me the time frame of when it was on my YouTube Studio app, and it might even do that on YouTube too in the comment section, but I usually check on the Studio app when I'm looking at the comments back, and your comments will be like 40 minutes ago when I'm getting up for work at like 4:45 in the morning. I'm like, geez, what is he doing up still? I'm like just about to start my day as you're still finishing yours. Yeah, it felt weird staying up till 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning the 2 nights before the Rolex 24 to get prepared to be able to have to stay up 24 hours. It was tough. If you go back into that stream, right around 6 hours to go, which would have been about 18 hours into the race, and pretty much from then through 3 hours ago, so the 18th through the 21st hour, I was not talking very much. And honestly, I wouldn't say on the brink of falling asleep, but there were some times in there where I would blink and my eyes were probably closed for like 2 or 3 seconds, and then I would snap out of it. And it was mainly when I wasn't talking and I had the audio of the race playing. Yeah, that was the toughest part of the 24 hours. They got to 3 hours to go, and the racing was really getting intense as they were battling more towards the front of each class. and that woke me up because I'm like, all right, we got some exciting things going on right now. But it didn't help. It was such a long green flag run. There was a lot of nothing going on at that time too. They went like 4.5 hours between cautions from like 4:30 in the morning to 8:30, and it was like pretty much the back half of that run where I was like, man, how much longer is this gonna go? I'm like, we're almost there. We're like over 75% of the way there. I gotta snap out of it. I made sure I went to the bathroom a couple times that stretch. Not that I actually had to go at that time, but just I had to get up and walk around, keep myself awake. That was the toughest part. Hour 21 through 24 was not as tough as 18 through 21. Because, too, you got to think, 18 through 21, I'm just starting to get tired. I still have 6 hours to go. Like, that's a long time. That's longer than a full cup race stream that we would do on a Sunday. So I knew in my head I had the wrong motto of thinking, oh, man, we still got a ways to go yet. That's not the right way to think about that at that point. That's why I was trying to think, like, okay, we've already done 18 hours. So what's 6 more? That's what I should have been trying to think. I was really trying to get to that point, but yeah, that was tough. I was asked if I was going to be able to do it again, and honestly, I'd be up for it. Viewership-wise, I was expecting a little more, but at the same time, I also knew that going into it, I wasn't expecting a whole lot. Just because it wasn't a NASCAR race, and this is a NASCAR-oriented channel, like we do get a lot more like views per hour on the live commentary side of things. And I also knew that in the wee morning hours that there was hardly going to be anybody watching, especially from that like 2 o'clock in the morning to like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Because not only it's that time where I live on the East Coast, but then the West Coast, you get to 4 a.m. here and it's like 1 a.m. there. There's still not that many people up, especially on the weekend. Because I feel like, all right, maybe people will be listening to work like more often at that time during the week if you're a night shift worker, but on the weekends, you know, not as many people are not only up, and if they are up, they're definitely not watching YouTube. It's usually because they're out partying or something, or actually out doing stuff, late hours, whatever you would do in your regular life. Duddlebug5, thanks for tuning in. Cars One Boy, also welcome to the stream. Live on the East Coast. Yeah, me too. Well, not like on the East Coast, but Eastern time. Live in the Midwest. There's some cars around here with damage I've noticed too. A lot of crinkled fenders. It is a short track. I wonder if that's going to lead to any debris cautions at any point in time. Lapping McMurray again. We have lapped the entire field, and we have done that for a little bit now. Almost a lap and a half ahead of second place. Which is good for us if we have to pit a little bit before everybody else. Still got to try to make it 150 laps so we can make this race on one stop, which I think we should be able to do. We made it 152 or 153 at Bristol. I'm probably going to split it more down the middle, especially having a bigger lead here. Rose Richard Petty, yeah. It's more of a 60s, 70s NASCAR race than a 2007. I'm actually going to pause it for a quick second. I left my water downstairs and getting a little parched. So let me pause it for like 60 seconds or so and go re-grab my water. Apologize for this. All that talk about staying hydrated, and I just completely forgot my water downstairs. What a rookie. What a rookie mistake. Why did I leave downstairs? Because I had to get my water. Left my water down there. We actually gained viewers while I was gone. I don't know how that was possible, but yeah, appreciate it. Everybody tuning in. Plan on getting MLB The Show? No, I don't plan on getting that. I got a lot of untapped potential here. Made me jump. Why? Because I was talking when I wasn't on the camera yet? There we go. As the great Bobby Boucher would say, got to have that high quality H2O. I wasn't going to attempt the voice that he can do it in. And that's another thing, too. I can't do voices since laryngitis. My voice cracks a lot when I try to do an impression of something. I have noticed that. Which sucks because I don't think I've ever mentioned it on the channel. And I just discovered this within the last couple months, so it's relatively new. But for anybody that knows The Simpsons, I have like the best Ralph Wiggum impersonation that I think I've ever heard. And I'm not like self-gloating about it because I tested it out on other people and they're like, dude, that sounds just like him. That's the only way I can get my voice to go like that high. But yeah, I'll test it out when my voice gets back to 100%. There's no way I can do it justice right now, so one of these days. He always says some like off-the-wall stuff, too, at random times. He's just a kid. That's the whole idea. He's a dumb kid, but he's innocent, so... like, you still love him. But, yep, that's old Ralphie. I've used this cup on... It's actually a WWE cup I got at a SmackDown in Toledo a long time ago. That was like one of the first shows I ever went to. It was like 2018, 2019, somewhere around there. I got the cup. You can tell too, because a lot of these guys on the cup, they're not even in the WWE anymore. They're over in AEW. They got Samoa Joe on there, Rusev, and some other ones. Slamming the O2. Yeah, it's hard not to make contact on a short track. These guys are so slow, too. Well, I mean, it's a combination of me being really fast, and then they're so slow for the cars at the back of the pack. I was just going to grab one of the Toledo Walleye Cups again because I got so many of them, but I ended up grabbing this. I'm like, you know what? It's Royal Rumble week. I was talking about it earlier on the stream. I'll be there in a couple days. And I've also got my Triple H shirt on today, which coincidentally got inducted into the Hall of Fame today as I was wearing the shirt. I was wearing the shirt at work because usually Thursdays are like our business casual days because it's the end of the work week. For those who work the weekday shift, the weekend shifts are Friday through Sunday. But anyway, yeah, so it's like our kind of like sports day or whatever. So for my sports. I have it's the week of the Rumble, so I'm like, yeah, I got to wear my Triple H shirt. And yeah, then I found out somebody told me that works there that also keeps up with pro wrestling. Well, so I'm actually going with her husband to the Royal Rumble, and she passed by me. She's like, "Oh, hey, you're wearing your Triple H shirt." And then she's like, "Oh, you know, he's in the Hall of Fame." I'm like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, I didn't even hear anything about this. Oh boy, caution is out. Debris. I don't think we can make it on field from here. What lap were we at? Oh man, we're gonna have to pit. Lap 145. 145 going on 146 when the caution came out. So we're just shy of halfway, but we're so close that we have to pit. Yep. I don't know if we're going to make it. It's going to be tight. That's the worst thing that could have happened when you have a full lap lead on the field. Because now the second place car is going to get their lap back too. With the free pass, it looks like a lot of other cars are staying out. Yeah, this is very interesting. We're definitely taking fuel and tires. No issue with going over our limit here. We still got 3 sets left the rest of the race. Bill Weber passed away a month ago. What? He did? How did I not know about this? Like the NASCAR Bill Weber? Didn't know until like a day or two ago. I didn't even know until you mentioned that. Oh, I'm just seeing this. 67. What happened?
Be careful and stay out of trouble.
I have to pause it for a quick second. I gotta look into this. I didn't hear about this. Oh, I just got blasted under the caution by Matt Kenseth. What was that? It was like right before I paused it. I wasn't even looking. I just heard the crunch and saw him all over my ass. 67. I was gonna say I didn't think he was that old. He passed away in December. I did not know about this. Man, that's sad. You think back to the booth during those mid-2000 years on NBC with him, Benny Parsons, and Wally Dallenbach, and now Wally Dallenbach is the only one of those 3 that are alive. Which is wild because, again, that was less than 20 years ago that those 3 were doing commentary for the Cup Series. I think they still work for TNT there, too, for a few years, even after NBC wasn't. They had the summer series. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, Weber did at least, but I did not know about that. I'm surprised that slipped by me. As much into NASCAR news as I am, I didn't even hear about that. Oh my gosh, he still hit me. He ran me into Kevin Conway. Green flag back in the air. And we are just shy of halfway on the restart. We got 152 to go. Up on the outside lane for the first time today. Trying our best here to get out of harm's way. We're just getting freight trained. I'm trying to be patient. We have lost the lead, though, on this restart. Matt Kenseth, by the way, in the 17 car who rammed us on the restart, that was the car that passed us for the lead. And he would have been the car that would have gotten the free pass because he had stayed out of the pits as well. I believe that's why he had the ability to restart right behind us. There might have been some cars that pitted, but there were definitely quite a few that stayed out. So I'd imagine we'll see some pit stops pretty shortly here. Which I'd imagine the whole field didn't pit because we're probably outside the window. Past the other 17 of Danny O'Quinn Jr., the car leading this pack is Kenseth in that RB17. We should take the lead away from him here shortly. So the first lap's led of the day for Kenseth to get those 5 bonus points as well. So only Kenseth, Truex, and Menard have led. And we are 154 laps in. Truex is back in the lead for the second different time in the race. Fuel mileage now. Is Tucker actually getting traded to the Browns? I did see the thing about the alleged sexual harassment stuff on him earlier. I don't know if that's a joke or not, just because the Browns have Deshaun Watson and that whole ordeal. Go figure the Browns would be the team to be like, oh, you know what? That's all right with us. It's a legend, by the way. I never jump the gun too early with that stuff. You know, I let it go to trial first before I give my opinions on the matter and subject. Because you just don't know. Basically, when it comes down to stuff like that, I'm sorry for everybody involved in the incident until further details come true. Because you just wish it didn't, have to happen, or just altogether didn't happen. It's kind of the way I go about it, at least. Whenever stuff like that comes out. Yeah, we'll get back into those die-cast showings. I'm surprised I didn't during the Rolex 24. I didn't really think about it. That probably could have helped me stay awake there in those the 18 to 21st hour that I was mentioning earlier in the stream about being tired. Got some cars pitting now. They're able to go quite a few laps after the caution. It gives me hope. We're going to be able to make this race without having to pit again. Obviously, assuming everybody has to pit, including Kenseth. If Kenseth pits again, which I believe he's on pit road right now, or is working his way there if he hadn't yet. All on pit road. I do feel like the car is tighter for some reason. I wonder if I actually got nose damage from Kenseth hitting me under caution, ramming me into the car in front of us. It was Kevin Conway. So I didn't make any adjustments. And it didn't feel this tight, especially in open traffic earlier in the race. So Kenseth pitted after the yellow. So therefore, we will have a 2-lap lead. If we catch a caution, I'm going to pit again just to make sure we're good on fuel. This actually might work out better for us this way, if that were to be the case, because then he's only going to get one of his 2 laps back, and we're still going to be a lap ahead of him. So it's going to take 2 cautions for Kenseth to get back on the lead lap. Everybody that just pitted has fresher tires than us, though. The only difference is, though, is about 10 laps. Maybe just more than 10 laps for some drivers. I don't think that's going to be a huge difference. Already clinched the most laps led. We're barely past halfway. Took the lead for the first time today, way back on lap 15. And again, we led 261 of 300 laps at Bristol, so we're looking to top that. Definitely on pace to doing so. And now we've more than got the track position with the way the pit strategy has lended itself with that caution middle of the race. So we have still not had a caution-free Busch or Cup race on NASCAR 08 on the channel yet. 0 for 7 for the Busch races. They have 3 for the trucks, but only one of them in a 100% race. Still have another 100% race remaining for the Busch schedule, so just waiting to see when I'm going to pull the trigger on that one. Probably going to be on a day where I've got, other things scheduled. Half brother passed in your area the other day. He was 30. Well, sorry to hear about that. It's always an unfortunate thing too, just with knowing a lot of people, is you're gonna come about stuff like that a lot, and especially the older you get, because then, especially if you know a lot of people that are older than you, whether that be family related or friends of family, it definitely starts to pop up more and more. Because when I was younger, I didn't really have to experience many deaths a lot. Like even in my family that we would, visit, they're relatively healthy. And even really to this point, I've still been fortunate, 25 years of age, that I haven't experienced a lot, but it'll be coming at some point. Like my grandpa, he's got 7 siblings between brothers and sisters, and I believe they're all still with us at this point. But there's like 3 or 4 of them where their health is declining quite a bit, and he is older. I think he's like 72. So I mean, it is great that they've all made it as far as they have, but unfortunately, as time passes on, and the fact that they are still around, I know it's kind of morbid thinking about that, but try not to think about it. You just carry on with your day. I've never been one to like be afraid of, death or whatever. I don't want to talk about this too much on the channel. I feel like we're opening up a whole can of worms I don't really want to get into. Essentially, bottom line of the story, I'm thankful that I haven't had to experience a lot of that up to this point. And for anybody that has, condolences are definitely with you. I think there's a very good possibility if we stay green long enough, I'll actually lap Kenseth another time. As long as he's not making up too much time on slightly pressured tires. It's not that big of a difference, so I'd like to think us already having the fastest car in the field beforehand, it's not going to be that much of an equalizer. Definitely not going to be enough. He's going to make up 2 laps on us. Just over 100 to go. That I can almost guarantee won't happen. Oof. I'll tell you what, you get back into the gas just a little too soon and you pay the price immediately in this game. And I did it right there, and it did not want to grip up. It didn't slide as much as it just shoved that corner, and luckily I caught it before it hit the wall. I was able to get out of the gas again. Lap 187. Still the one yellow at lap 145. And it was for debris. One of the fantasy cars had a hood come off. One of the many we've seen damage on. Definitely thought that that could have been a possibility, and sure enough it was. And we still got time left in the race, and there's probably still cars with damage that didn't repair it during their pit stop. I've definitely seen a couple cars that were still beat and battered. And maybe they could have been since the caution as well. It's very possible, especially leaving pit road. Maybe having some contact to do there. Yeah, I don't really want to act more if we don't have to. Try to keep things lighthearted on the channel. Is that Ken? Oh, no, it was the other 17. I thought that was Kenseth for a second. I was like, oh, man, the only competitor in this race with us, assuming we would have to pit again, would have been Kenseth, and now he's out, but that is not the case. So Danny O'Quinn Jr., and that 17 car is out instead. Yeah, honestly, I think the best thing that could happen for us, we catch a caution, we don't have to pit under green. We pit under green. I feel like the pit crew would have to have a very slow stop in order for us to not come out with the lead, which isn't impossible because the pit crew has had a tendency to not be very good in the past on this game. I feel like I get quite a few blunders across all three series. Contact with Ambrose. Yeah, Picker's definitely slow in this game. Still trying to make up the time we came on track for if we were to pit one more time. We might be able to make it 152 laps on fuel, but it's definitely going to be pushing it. And honestly, with a couple lap lead, we get to the white flag, and I think I could just coast it on the apron for a half mile. I mean, it would take over 30 seconds for Kenseth to catch us at that point. Well, we got a caution. Never mind. Well, we won't have to find that out. Oh, I almost hit it, too. Debris on the racetrack. So Kenseth's going to get a lap back here, and he's going to go from 2 laps down to 1 lap down, and it is another debris caution, the 107. Dropping his hood, that outer lane. All right. Yes, sir. So we'll take that second set of tires now. We're going to be plenty good on fuel to the end of the race. And we're only giving up that 1 lap. Now, Kenseth's staying out of the pits here. He can restart right behind us at 1 lap down. And we did struggle in the last restart to get to the bottom of the track with all those lap cars underneath us. So there's a chance he can unlap himself here. Got to try to do what we can to keep him in the rear view. But don't want to be over-aggressive in doing that and throw the whole race away either. Excuse me. Had a hiccup. Right in the middle of my pit road speech. Yeah, Picker's just slow in this game. 18.2 seconds. My car really didn't have any damage. Unless Kenseth gave me that damage under caution. I don't know if that really registered or not. Felt like the car's a little tight like it did. All right. Here we go. Green flag back in the air. Yep, I was on the brakes a little early. Tried to drop in line behind Dale Jr. I was all right with letting him clear. Got him back in 3 and 4, and now we got Kevin Conway right in front of us. Get by him, we got clean air. By far better than the restart before that. So you have a little contact. Conway trying to block. And we've got free room to roam on fresh tires. So now we have fresher tires than everybody else, and we've got track position. Let's try to see if we can put our fastest lap of the race together now. 14.857. Oh, geez, that was 0.3 quicker. Holy Moses. I guess when we took the lead earlier, it was lap 15, and we finally had clean room to run. 14.487. That's Hall of the Mail on a half-mile short track, let me tell you. Although I think I've ran quicker laps at Bristol when we were in the Busch race. I wonder what the Cup cars can do there. Can we run a 13-second lap at Bristol in this game? I was running 14.2s. Pole time is a 14.1. Watch him be slower. Still running 14.5s right now. Oh, that's a great lap. Yeah, I don't know if I can get back down into the 14.8 or 14.4s again. I'm really letting it rip. There's no need to have to save my tires now. I'm not going to have to go a full tire stint this time. I'm digging. And I only have so much clean air until we catch lap traffic again, too. Closer, only about 400ths off that time. Knowing the tire we're in this game, though, the more laps we run, the less likely it's going to be getting that lap time later in the run. Oh, we got it there. What was it? 4.5 instead of a 4.8. 14.454. The one lap lead in the field. This is what we could do to try to make things entertaining. Is what lap time can we run to be our quickest? I was 10 slower there. I kind of slid the rear tires a bit in 3 and 4. I did it there in 1 and 2, but not as bad that time. Got it. I think I figured out how to do it. I'm not going to get it this lap. 14.421. If I really back the middle of the corner up, drive it in deep, try to get out of the gas as much as I can in the center, and then stand on it, like right there. I didn't get it pinned all the way to the bottom that time, though. Having a hard time trying to do that. I kind of did it out of just, it was a little better there. But then when I tried to grab the gas, though, it spun the tires a bit. It didn't do that one lap. Oh, there we go. That was better. Problem is I didn't do it on both ends. Yeah. Well, that might have been all she wrote for the quickest lap time of the race. We're starting to catch lap traffic. Unless we get another caution. I got 2 sets of tires. Might as well throw another set on. We catch another yellow. Try to chase that lap time again. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, we would have the COT. Yeah, never mind. I didn't factor that in at all. I'm curious how much different those cars are going to drive. Yeah, I honestly forgot that was a feature in this game because we haven't had to deal with it yet. Oh, that was a good corner. What do we got this time? Oh, I ran it identical to the thousandth of a second. I knew that was going to be a really good lap, too. 14.421 again. Too much apron. Well, that was fun while it lasted. Now we've got traffic. My last lap for a good lap time is going to be this one, but then I slid getting into 3 there. Alright. That'd be stupid. Get our way through traffic a little easier. We're going to see a big drop-off in the lap time now, but... Whoa! Unless I get dumped. What is that all about? That guy's got a vendetta against me. Who pissed in his Cheerios? He's angry. He's going to make me angry. They're starting to build a lot more allies. Remember that one guy that tried wrecking me earlier? I don't know what car number that was. It happened so quick. Hit me so fast. He hit me so fast I couldn't even react. Hit me so fast, couldn't even see who he was. Ooh, a little contact up there. They're almost 3 wide. Right in front of us. 184 car's making some moves. Now he's 3 wide. That really stacked him up. 4. 4 wide. For just a brief moment off the exit of the corner, I found a hole. They checked each other up. As soon as they went 3 wide, we went for it. "66 laps to go at the line." 67, rather. With a 1-lap lead over Matt Kenseth. 1 more caution. He's back on the lead lap and back in contention. Still 2 more sets of tires left here for Truex. And both cautions we've seen tonight were both for debris. We only had 2 cautions at Bristol on a similarly shaped track, so there's a good chance this goes caution-free to the end. Makes it easier for us. That last restart was good. I just got to try to do that again. It's alright to give up a couple spots. I just try to find a hole and get down there. If I have to let 1 extra car in line to do that, that's fine. We've got a quicker car, even if it's Kenseth on the next restart. Just get him back. We'll have enough laps left, hopefully. Unless it's with a couple to go, then I'll have to be more aggressive. But then if it's under 10 to go and restart, then all the lap cars will be behind us anyway. So make it a little easier. 126 has quite a bit of damage. Oh. Gave the 116 a little damage. Very good. Might have been this guy that tried to hit me earlier, the 106. Maybe whoever hit me earlier either knocked themselves out of the race. We've got cars that are 10 laps down that are actually on track. That's insane. Oof. It's like wall scrapage. What happened there? There's a big checkup. Denny Hamlin, the car right behind him. One of the 216 cars. We've been over this before that both Cleaver and Biffle have the same identical paint scheme, so it's not like it was with the 217 cars, or not 217, but the two Pennzoil Roush cars between Mark Martin and Matt Kenseth, the NASCAR 7, because one had a more gray tint, the other one was kind of a lighter gray or a white. Even though they had the same sponsor, and obviously the car numbers were different, everything is identical with the Biffle and Cleaver car outside of the names for the drivers. Same number, same sponsor, same exact paint scheme. They're literally two of the same cars, so you can't tell them apart. The 217 cars, 241s are two completely different paint schemes. You're racing around them. So they're a lot easier to tell. Just under 50 laps to go. Got 20 likes on the stream. Greatly appreciate that, everybody. Sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Oh, speaking of one of the 16 cars is down, we're about to find out who that is. Once we get several more laps. Put some of these other cars a lap down here. A lot of contact with Harvick. 21 car. Oh boy! I might have overran that corner just a little bit. Is that the other 16, or he missed pit road the first time? I don't know. I couldn't tell. Just realized Menard's back at fourth now. And guys in the top 10 that are 5 laps down. Couple of them. Some of that was them pitting under green. That gave me 2 laps on them. The contact there for Marcus Ambrose. Didn't need that. Marcos. John Wood, sorry. Ambrose drove that car at one point in time, and actually I think he's 47 in the Cup Series, but 59 in the Busch. And John Wood's the 21 in the Cup. That's what's probably the most confusing. Got some guys that are the same car number in both series and some aren't. Some of them are just completely different teams, too. Like the 11 doesn't exist like it does in the Cup side. With Denny Hamlin. Hamlin's in the 20. That one I can remember just because that was like that in NASCAR 7, too. Get into some other ones that weren't in the last game. And Jeff Burton in the 29. Like that just seems weird. I see that 29 car. I think it's Harvick. No, Harvick's in the 21. But he's 29 in Cup. Burton's 31 in Cup. And 31 doesn't exist in the Busch. Biffle in the 16's out, yep. Are they both out? Both the 16s, or was it just the one? If it is just the one, they definitely missed pit road. Yeah, Ken Schrader also 21. Waiting to see for myself. Get closer to the end of the lineup on the top of the screen. Biffle. Nope, Cleaver's still in. Okay, so Biffle did miss the pits then the first time because they saw him on the back straightaway. It looked like there were some sparks coming out from underneath his car too, so I don't know that it was an engine failure as much as it might have been a mechanical failure, but he's definitely out of the race. He's been on pit road for quite some time. He's currently scored 16 laps down, and he was in the top 10 for a good portion, if not all the race. Going to be down to 31 laps to go. This time by. Here we go, 31 to go. Now we're about to lose another lap. Kenseth's up here too. Yeah, Conway, then Kenseth. Kenseth would be 2 laps down if we pass him, so it's going to be a big pass to try to catch this guy in case we get another caution, because if we got another yellow before he loses a lap, Kenseth's back on the lead lap here with less than 30 to go. And it will be a race for the win between the two of us. And he took the lead from us on a restart once already. So I'm not going to rule it out of the question. Got to get by Conway in the 18. He's blocking us. I had to put the bumper to him earlier. Might have to do it again. I'm trying not to. Keep the car as squeaky clean as we can. And we have passed him cleanly. Took a couple extra corners, but we did make the pass. 26 to go this time by in this half-mile short track at Toyota Raceway. And it's down to Truex and Kenseth. And I expect Kenseth to be aggressive with his blocks here as well. It's probably his last-ditch effort to try and stay in this race. And Truex is going to be clear up off of turn 2 as he laps Kenseth again. So now Truex has a 2-lap lead, and that's going to be huge because if we do get another caution, I'm telling you right now, that's going to be big. Won't have to worry about him. It's going to take 2 more yellows from here for Kenseth to get back into the race. Gives us the leeway to pit. We still have 2 sets of tires left. Last lap was back in the 14s, 14.9. That was 15.2. Nice to know we ended up pitting during that second yellow. If we had not seen that second caution, I'd wonder if we would have made it on fuel for 152 laps. I mean, it was going to be really, really close. It took all the thinking out of it for us. We had that caution with just under 100 to go. 20 to go now. It's going to take back-to-back yellows for Kenseth to get back on the lead lap. So Martin Truex Jr. about to win 4 races in a row. Back-to-back on short tracks. And I believe Texas is the next race on the Busch Series schedule. Another mile and a half. 2 for 2 on the mile and a half in the Busch Series at Vegas and Atlanta. Yep, definitely going to get NASCAR 25. There's going to be a lot of NASCAR 25 content when that begins. I'm hoping we can get through all the seasons we're doing right now in NASCAR 08 before then. I think we will. I don't know if I'll be able to get through the custom schedule seasons before then, but we'll definitely get through these current seasons. Obviously not going to be doing quite as much NASCAR 08 or video gaming content during the NASCAR season. We will have it, obviously, on Mondays through Thursdays, but some Fridays here and there when it's only Saturday, Sunday action. Then obviously Speed Week's only going to have Monday, Tuesday. Then the rest is going to be a bunch of Daytona live commentary streams. Qualifying the Wednesday night all the way through the 500 on that Sunday. Last year it stretched to Monday with the rain. Hopefully we don't have to deal with that again because we've had way too many rain issues with the Daytona 500 the last several years. I'm lucky when I went in 22 of all the recent years we've had rain issues at Daytona that there wasn't a single rain issue that whole weekend. Maybe I should start going more often and it won't rain. Maybe that was the key determining factor. Yeah, it didn't rain that whole week. There wasn't even a single day, like during the day it rained before any on-track activity. Like there was no rain that whole week I was there. It was in the 70s all week. Like it literally couldn't have been that much better. Perfect weather. Windy, but I'd imagine it's like that at Daytona Beach all the time, being on the shoreline. Any cities I've been to that are on the shore, it's always windy. That's the one thing that will steer me away from ever living shoreline is because of the wind. Like, it gets windy in the Midwest, but it's not every day like it seems like it is anytime I've traveled. It doesn't matter whether it's West Coast or East Coast. I'm living on the Pacific Coast or the Atlantic Coast. It is windy every day I've been there. Some days obviously worse than others, but definitely make the golf game a little tougher. A lot of contact there. I ran into the back of him because he ran into the car that he was battling with. It's 123. Just looking to get by that 107. 9 laps to go this time by. Yeah, that is pretty cool. Get to run Arca Toledo. My home. I've never been there, though. That's so sad. I've never been to Toledo Speedway. Any local tracks I've gone to have all been dirt tracks. I've never been to a local asphalt race. There aren't many around us. Like, Mansfield's closed down now. I think Sandusky Speedway might operate. See, at that time, though, I was racing at Sandusky Speedway. They had the dirt go-kart / quarter midget track in the infield of the half-mile asphalt oval. So we would race on Friday nights, and then they would have the local short track races there on Saturday night. But I also lived like 50 to 55 minutes from Sandusky. So it was quite the haul for us just to go there like every Friday night, every other Friday night to race. So we wouldn't go back for the Saturday because, you know, there's no reason for us to. If we were to go racing Saturday night, you know, to go watch locally, then I would just end up going to like Fremont Speedway or something like that next Saturday night if I wasn't doing anything instead. Even the one SRX race I saw was on dirt too, so that doesn't even... That wouldn't even count either. The only ARCA races I've ever seen were Bristol and Talladega when I was there for the NASCAR weekend, so I've never been at like a standalone ARCA event. That would be the only one I would. Like, Berlin's a little too far for me. Berlin Speedway is about 3.5 hours, so there wouldn't really be much of an incentive for me to go there. The only reason I drove the 3.5 hours to get to Sheridan Speedway for that SRX race because the Blaney's were racing each other. I'm a big Blaney fan, so I didn't want to miss that opportunity. Final lap of the race. Lap 300 up 300. And the dominating win for Martin Truex Jr. will continue on as he laps 2 more cars through 3 and 4. They were wrecking behind me as soon as we passed them. It looked like they were hung up on each other. And they caught their cars off the exit of turn 4. And there we have it. Martin Truex Jr. is a winner yet again. 4 in a row. 5 in the first 7. Trying to go for a 3rd career Busch title. Full season points format. Definitely a hot start. I'm still waiting for us to have a bad race. Well, I mean, we did finish 20th at California, so I guess that was our mediocre to bad race. So it will happen. We still got to go back to Cali one more time yet. 3 lead changes, that was it. 113.41 mile per hour average race speed. Margin of victory, 2 laps. By far the biggest on NASCAR 08. I haven't even lapped the field. We did it twice. 1 hour, 24 minutes, 35 seconds total time on this race. 282 of 300 laps led for Truex. That was even starting last. That's insane. It only took us 15 laps to get to the lead. We lost the lead to Kenseth on a restart. That's where he led 4. Paul Menard led the first 14. So those are the only 3 drivers to lead. Kevin Conway, no laps led, finished in 3rd. 4 laps down in 3rd. 5 laps down in 4th for Paul Menard, who started on the pole. That's where he led the first 14 laps. We took the lead. Back-to-back poles for Menard as well. Dale Jr. started deep in the field, still finished 5th. Won Pablo Montoya 6th. J.J. Haley 7th. Marcus Ambrose 8th. Jeff Burton 9th. Noah Howe, the only fantasy driver that ended up in the top 10. He finished in 10th. And as far as DNFs, we pretty much saw all of them at some point in time in the race. David Reagan, Reed Sorensen, David Stremme, Danny O'Quinn Jr., Greg Biffle were the 5 that failed to finish. Biff started 2nd, too. Yeah, he was definitely top 10 the whole race. That's a tough one for him. All right, that's going to be all she wrote for tonight's stream. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Be sure to hit the like button again if you haven't done so yet. We're at 23. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. We'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern, hour earlier live stream start. That's because we're doing a 500-mile Cup race, all 500 miles, assuming I don't DNF, of course. Atlanta Motor Speedway will be that race for the Cup Series. So first trip to Atlanta on the Cup side. I did run a Busch and a truck race there already, so I am quite familiar with that track on this game. And the truck race there was pretty wild, and I expect more of the same on the Cup side. Although the Busch and the Cup race I ran there were 50%, so this is going to be quite the experience for the 500-miler. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good rest of your Thursday, and see you on our Fast Friday tomorrow.